that we are two souls coming together in love and respect. I belong to you, you belong to me. I bow to you with respect and love, and you're in my heart forever. The thumb pointing towards the heart means that you are in my heart forever. If only we greeted ourselves and we actually felt the emotions when we meet any human being, if we felt these emotions, there would be no conflict at all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I could hear two languages being spoken here. The only language I know is the language of love. So I hope you understand me. Men speak with passion, women speak with compassion. So compassion is an emotion that everyone understands. I was born in the year that World War II ended, and the United Nations was established in that year. And my parents always told me that you are responsible for world peace. So being a naive kid, I took their word for gospel truth. And the overarching philosophy of my life has been to create peace at any cost. And very young in life, I understood that peace can be achieved only if you put yourself in the other person's shoes. Peace comes only with understanding. It comes only with love. Conflicts never create peace. So what I'm going to talk about today is that how to create this peace. And I'm going to give you examples of what's already happening in the world around us, because we've had enough of all this, what we see happening in Cairo. Our friend Dr. Sonal Lambani has just come back from Cairo. She was there in the midst of all this chaos that was happening. But there is hope for peace, because the whole world is viewing this with horror and deciding that we'll all come together to see that there's some sort of sense in this chaos. So I'll share with you what has already happened in the world. You know about Hiroshima. It was destroyed by the first atomic bomb. But what's happening in Hiroshima today? It's become a global city of peace and togetherness, because of this peace garden that has been created, the Peace Memorial on Peace Boulevard. That has become a great tourist attraction. I was there in Hiroshima, and I felt two emotions. One was the trauma and the angst that the people in Hiroshima must have felt, the survivors. It must have been total shock and confusion and anger and hatred in their hearts. But the outcome was that they said the only way we can deal with this is to create peace. So Hiroshima is an example that we can all follow. Then in India, in our own country, has anyone been to Auroville? Auroville was started by the mother, by Aurobindo Bose, and Aurobindo. The Aurobindo ashram is there. And this is one place where there are 43 people from 43 nations. They're living together in peace and harmony. That's an example to follow. You know what we're going to do with you from today onwards, is to apply your mind for the action plan. What are the things that are already achieved, and what is it that we can follow? We're going to give you forms tomorrow. We're going to give you forms tomorrow where you have to actually sit down and say, how can we all work together? How can you specifically help us in taking this movement of peace, this unity and diversity forward? That's why I'm giving you these examples where you can make mental notes. Can I do this? Can I do that? Our friend Joel Rodrigues is sitting here. He's sort of a beautiful way of creating a garden of love, which he's going to talk about tomorrow. So these peace gardens are really very useful and helpful for us to think about getting together in love and harmony. Then we have the Brahma Kumaris, the art of living, and there's so many great souls with us from all communities. The oneness movement. I'm working very closely with many of these spiritual organizations, and they are massive, they are huge. They have a presence in so many different centers of the world. So these are great organizations which could help us in spreading the message instantly. These days, with the push of a button, you can reach so many millions of human beings. So it's so easy why spread hate? Why can't we spread peace? In the Times Foundation where I'm working, they said that we should start a center for good people. We should call it goodpeople.com. So anybody who's interested in, who thinks they are good, they should join this. So why, I mean, I'm sure all of us could join this organization. And I was very happy to be introduced to basically our friend Mike Hancock. He introduced me to Peter Jovsky, and I met him 2 years ago at the Pioneer Forum, Mr. Bose also. And that's when we said, Peter said that he wanted to bring unity in this world, and he started the Global Dialogue Foundation then. And I was very honored that he selected me as the vice chairperson. He must have seen something in me, but it's, you know, sometimes things just fall into your lap, and because I felt I was responsible for world peace, I said, yeah, it's only natural that he had to select me. So then today the international interfaith movement is one of the most important features of the modern world. If you can see the World Conference of Religions for Peace, they played a crucial role to end the conflict in Bosnia and also in Sierra Leone. And in the year 2000, the Community Garden Project was started with 2,000 people in Bosnia, soldiers who were opposite each other. They were working together and nurturing plants together. So it is possible. The World Council of Churches, based in Geneva, has also been active in the interfaith movement for many years. In December 1999, the Parliament of the World Religions was held in Cape Town. About 7,000 participants from 90 countries belonging to the world's religions gathered for dialogue and action. Then religious leaders from all regions of the world met at the United Nations in New York in August 2000 to attend the Millennium World Peace Summit of religious and spiritual leaders. I remember Indu Jain, who we are working with closely, she had attended this forum, and she had said, give women a chance and non-violence will be the religion of the next millennium. Based on that, when she came back to India, she started the Women's Movement for Peace and Prosperity, and she made me the first chairperson of the Women's Movement for Peace and Prosperity, because it is really the woman, she's the nucleus of the family, and she's the one who can either create love or hate in her children, and those are the children who go forward to create this emotion globally. I remember the other day my grandson, who was all of 12, he wanted to celebrate his birthday, and he said, I asked him, who are your friends who you're inviting? He said, all of them except Sakina. So I said, why not Sakina? He said, oh, she's a Muslim and all Muslims are terrorists. I was shocked. I was really shocked to hear this, because these are stereotypes that the media creates. We create this in our minds. And I sat down with my grandson and I told him, you know, Sharon, one of my best friends is she's an Islamic scholar, Dr. Zina Chaukat Ali. She's one of my best friends. When I was little, I'm a Hindu, born in Pakistan, and it was a Muslim family that saved my father when we were fleeing from Pakistan to India when the country was partitioned. I studied in a convent, so I still pray to Jesus and Mary. So I keep wondering, who am I? I mean, in my previous life, if you believe in past life regressions, I was an Egyptian, I was a Spanish, and I don't know what I'll be in my next life. But you know, it makes you wonder, who are you? And then you realize that you're a nobody. This body is nothing. So why do we compartmentalize ourselves into any religion or any culture? And we are just the microcosm which is connected with the macrocosm. We are all interlinked. As I speak with you, my atoms and molecules are merging with yours. So how can you say you are you and I'm me? I'm so happy that my parents have named me Maya, because it reminds me constantly that this life is a Maya. It's not a real thing. So what are we fighting about? And why are we on different sides of the fence all the time? And there are recent important initiatives for interfaith dialogue which I wanted to share with you, so that you know that there's hope and the world is working together on being one. In 2008, 138 Muslim scholars wrote to Pope Benedict XVI and other Christian leaders asking for a dialogue between Islam and Christianity in order to reduce tensions between Islam and the West. Were you aware of this, Chup? You're a Christian. But these are things happening behind the scenes. This has created a permanent Catholic-Muslim Forum, which would serve as a hotline to diffuse crisis between the two faiths. In March 2008, King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia called for a dialogue among Muslims and Christians and Jews. This was the first proposal from Saudi Arabia at a time of mounting tensions between Islam and the two other religions. What happened in Madrid? There was a horrible bombing there. But what was the outcome of that bombing? People realized that violence begets violence. So what did they do? It was followed by spiritual readings from each religious community and a guided meditation led by the Brahmakumaris. Are the Brahmakumaris here today? We had invited them. So the Brahmakumaris did a guided meditation. Then interfaith groups continue to work for peace and harmony to this day all over Spain. Then the recital of the Bible. Did you know that Pope Benedict XVI, again, he launched one of the longest live television broadcasts in Italian history with the entire Bible, which was recited continuously for 139 hours. 1,250 readers from various walks of life and religions took turns at reading every word of the 73 books which comprise the Roman Catholic Bible. A few Muslims, Jews, and others also participated. This could be a positive sign and an opportunity to begin a new kind of dialogue to the scriptures to get to know each other better. Then what are the positive steps taken by the British government to address Muslim issues? I remember one of my nieces and one of my nephews, Indu Shani's son, he was in London when there was the London train bombing, and we were so worried. We were wondering what's going to happen. But after that, and specifically after the 9/11 tragedy, it's opened people's eyes and minds. And we realize that we have to understand the other person, why they're doing all this. If only we understand what is going on in their minds and in their hearts, there would be some kind of meeting ground. So that is why the British government has announced an investment of £7.5 million for interfaith work across the country. A laudable effort has been done by the BBC, their beaming channels locally and globally, to show what the other cultures and communities are all about, so that people understand each other. Then, as global violence spreads, peace studies are gaining strength. Now, this is very important because there has to be, whenever there's a dart thrown at you, there has to be something to counterbalance that. So unless we teach our children peace, someone else will teach them violence. Today, there are more than 400 universities and colleges globally which offer degrees which aim to explore the roots of conflict. How can we bring about preventative strategies and teach skills for conflict resolution? Conflict resolution is a very important subject that we should all study. In fact, there are 50 universities in the United States. They have launched courses in the Gandhian thought. This is very important for us Indians. We should feel proud of it, that Mahatma Gandhi is considered the management guru at the Harvard School of Business, and the UN General Assembly has declared Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary, October the 2nd, as the International Day of Non-Violence. History was created when a Hindu prayer was recited at the opening of the US Senate in Washington, D.C. on July 2007. And what about the famous speech delivered by Ronald Reagan when he was at the Berlin Wall? How do you think the wall fell? It was not by violence. It fell because there was understanding and the simple power of moral persuasion and dialogue. That's why these forums of dialogue and interfaith understanding are really very important. The other important thing is music. Music is the language of the soul. So music has been used as a diplomatic instrument to help bring cordial relations amongst countries. There's many examples. For instance, in Beijing, the China Philharmonic Orchestra was sent to the Vatican. And the United States, they attempted to woo North Korea when it was at the height of the tension between the two countries. They sent the New York Philharmonic Orchestra, and the US policy of negotiation rather than confrontation has yielded results. So if the Berlin Wall can come down, why can't we bring down these walls between us It's so simple. To me, it looks so simple. I wish everyone could think of it that way. Thank you so much.